And when I talk about volume scoring, I'm not talking about our two analysts who are volume scorers in their day. They're more screen setters now. But I can't do either. I will be the scene setter. I'm Donovan Bennett. This is Victor Razzo, Javon Shepard. And guys, let's start setting the scene with some standings, because this tells us, Joe Razzo, obviously, sorry, Victor is his young, talented son. The scene that is set with the standings is one that is imperative. Look at the top of them. Vancouver and Winnipeg tied for first. Now, Winnipeg comes in losing 3 of the last 5. The last game they lost was against Vancouver. Vancouver 2-1 over Winnipeg when it comes to head-to-head. But they see Vancouver at the end of the regular season. But more importantly, if Winnipeg wins today, they clinch a home playoff date. And Javon, when you look at their chances to do that, that have increased now that they have Xavier Moon back in the fold. How do you integrate him for the stretch run?
Well, I don't think you have to integrate Xavier Moon, right? You think about the last time he played in this league, he was hoisting an MVP trophies, hosting, a CEBL championship. He's a guy that just understands how to play. If you're Winnipeg's fans, if you're Coach Mike Rainbow, if you're his teammates on the floor, you're excited to have him out there because he just makes everybody better, right? He makes these advanced plays, and now he's had some time where he's gone over to Europe. He has some experience there, right? He's come back a much better player in terms of he's not just poised to score. He's not just pressed to score. You can see in the 2 games that he's played with Winnipeg thus far, he's a bit more tranquil. He's looking, as soon as he catches the basketball, his head's up. He's looking to make plays for his teammates. He's one of the guys that can make everybody better on the floor, and I think there's some really good chemistry with him and Teddy already in the 2 games that they played together.
Yeah, when the MVP trophy is named after you, you know you've left your mark. Here's a guy who's built a pathway from the CEBL to the NBA. He has been absolutely incredible, and he's a co-star. So this is very important, but he's the co-star to Teddy Buckets. I like to refer to him as Teddy Basketball. He's the front runner for MVP, #1 scorer by 29 points, 5 points ahead of anyone else. 7 rebounds a game, and he's second in steals, so he can do a whole lot more. The fact that you add a co-star like Xavier Moon, this guy may look unorthodox. He may look like he's got the high dribble. The release is not there, but man, can he play, and he can score.
Yeah, I think those guys have still got to figure it out, right? They're dynamic. There's a ton of scoring, between the 2 of them. But you watch the last game against Vancouver, when it got to that 4th quarter, you could see they really didn't know, okay, who's the basketball supposed to be with? Who's making the decisions? I like to see it in Xavier Moon's hands and Teddy Allen playing off him. Teddy had that basketball in that 4th quarter, a couple turnovers, and, they're still going to have a couple things to iron out and hash out. But like I mentioned before, they're dynamic, explosive scoring, and you expect that from both those guys.
They have a lot of buckets. They have a lot of MVPs. Look at the star power. 4 of the last 7 MVPs went to these 2. And talking about giving them names, Coach, well, they've called themselves Deadpool and Wolverine. I don't know how I feel about giving yourself a nickname, but whatever you call Xavier Moon, he is standing by with our MVP, Joey Slattery.
Thank you, Donovan. Xavier, the first game here, it was a storybook start for you, and Teddy had the 54 points. Rare loss on home court to Vancouver. They were shorthanded. What was the discussion between the team after last game heading into today?
We didn't play our best basketball on offense or defense. So like I said last game, man, we had to clean up a few things. I feel like we did that, and we'll be looking better moving forward.
With the season winding down here, I mean, the playoffs are clinched, but you are in a tight race for top in the West. You know how important that is playing on home court with this team particularly. What's going to be the key tonight to get past that last game and set the tone for this one?
Our defense. We got to trust each other better on defense. We know we can get whatever we want on offense, man, so we got to trust each other on defense, make sure we helping each other out, man. I think we'll be fine.
All right, thank you. Good luck today,
yes,
Xavier.
Appreciate it.
Donovan.
Good job, Joey. And we set up the West playoff race. Let's look at the East. And it's not about the top spot like the West. It's about all those other spots. How tight it is from 2 to 5. Remember, 4 teams make it into the playoffs in each side of the bracket. And Brampton tied at 9. But the most important thing on that board, they've got a game in hand. The game that you're about to witness. And this is so fascinating. All of the parity, these games are so close, but often it's the players that make the huge difference. And when you look at Brampton, they're trying to stop those offensive players we talked about. Is there an off-night guy, a guy who's a defensive stopper or multiple that Brampton can utilize in this spot?
Yeah, for me, the biggest difference in the CBL and other domestic leagues is the talent of the domestic players. And Brampton's got 3 Canadians who can guard the best imports in the world, but Josh Omojofo, Hamilton native, is incredible on the ball. He's 6'5", he can guard, he's strong, he's good off the ball, but he's a tenacious defender. He held Teddy Allen to 25 points, which doesn't seem like a great effort in their last game, but the result was they won that game.
Yeah, I wouldn't put the responsibility of defending Winnipeg on just one player. I know Josh was, a tremendous defender, athletic, can do it all, on the end of the floor. But I think if you're going to attack Winnipeg defensively, you got to look at how they're attacking offensively. They use a lot of ball screening with Xavier Moon. He's coming off with Tillman in that 2-man game. And then you have Teddy Allen coming off, for 3-point shots. So it's going to be a collective effort, a lot of communication, and that's got to be imperative for Brampton on the defensive end.
And you talk about those talented imports. Trenton Flowers is one of them, not available for them. How do they manage without him, and when can they expect him back?
So Trenton Flowers is a guy that went from high school to professional basketball, bypassed the NCAA, and he is a high flyer, super talent. He went down in a game against Niagara. I thought it was a season-ending injury. But sometimes with the injuries, you're scared and you're hurt. So you're a little confused. Brampton's fortunate. They're going to get him back. But they need 3 games at least to get him and Sean East together and put him into the mix, because this is a talented team and he's a talented player.
And I think without Flowers, Sean East is going to be a lot of responsibility on his shoulder. He can be one of the best players on the floor today.
And let's hear from Sean East.
Thank you, Donovan. Sean, last game against Saskatoon, you had a lead. It got away on you on that one. I know it's been a tough stretch for you guys, but what was the takeaway from that game?
We got new players. We got, I'm coming back from my first game. This is my second game now. We're just trying to get back in the groove of things and, don't worry about the result, but, make sure the process is right and, take it one game at a time.
You had a really hot start to the season, which is helping now because it's been a bit of a slump, but you're still in second place in a very tight East race. How important is this game tonight? What is it going to take off the hop here to get a foot forward?
We just got to take it one possession at a time, one play at a time, just to break the game down. We got to get back to, our winning culture. We got to bring everybody along. We just got to, get things back rolling to how it was.
All right, thank you so much. Good luck tonight. Donovan.
Thanks, Joey. It's not just East who they're adding. Look at these signings Brampton has down the stretch. Roddy Peters, Tevion Jones, someone who's bounced around the league but is a bona fide bucket. Will they make an impact today in winning time, in target time? We shall see. We've got a great one up for you tonight. Some young fans hoping that they aren't making those buckets against them, Coach. It is Winnipeg. It's SeaBears. Playoff implications on the line. Arash Badani and Javon Shepard have the call after this break.
There's a heat warning in downtown Winnipeg, 38 degrees with the humidex. Playoff implications all over the place. The SeaBears hosting the Honey Badgers. This is the CEBL on CBC as we welcome you to the Canada Life Centre. Arash Madani, Javon Shepard, Joey Slattery with you. Both Brampton and Winnipeg have added talent over the last couple of weeks, but the paint battle today just got more interesting. Look to the top right of your screen. The Honey Badgers starting Tegra Ize for the first time in his pro career. The 7-footer from Montreal in the mix in large part to deal with the big SeaBears center, Jeremiah Tillman Jr., who wears number 35. Will be limited action in short spurts for Ize. There's Mike Rainbow. His team scored a season-low 77 points in Thursday's loss to Vancouver. A quick turnaround since. He said hopefully there's enough juice in the tank for the team. Meanwhile, on the other side, Alex Serda, his first foray into the CEBL. He has called this the adventure of a lifetime. This week has been 3 new players added into Brampton's mix over the past 4 days. There's Teddy Allen, the favorite for MVP in this 2026 CEBL season, and Spalding is the official ball of the CEBL. With the whistles this afternoon, Perry Stothert, Tanner Servo, Wyatt Anders. And Winnipeg, with a win today, can clinch a home playoff berth as we welcome you to the CEBL on CBC, underway on this Saturday afternoon. And it opens with Xavier Moon misfiring from the elbow.
And you know, that first shot by Winnipeg, there's a number of actions that happen before Xavier Moon gets that shot. If you're Brampton, you got to ensure that there's a ton of communication, you know, defensively, not just a one-on-one play, but communicating on all screens, on all actions.
Honey Badgers on the tail end of a road trip that opened with a loss in Saskatoon on Thursday. Here's Moon in transition. Honey Badgers 9-11 on the season, has them second in the East as Emmanuel Aycott's triple slips out. And our first look at Sean East II, one of the premier players in the history of this league, who's back for his second game. And the find underneath, Brampton gets things started with Tevion Jones.
Well, great action there by, you know, the penetration there by Sean East, getting around Teddy Allen and dropping it off, you know, for the little floater inside the paint.
Teddy was looking for Emmanuel Aycott, miscommunication. Allen and the SeaBears 13-8, tied with Vancouver for top spot in the West. And it's here at Canada Life Centre that the SeaBears thrive. They are 8-2 on their home court this season. East is short off the front end, tapped into the hands of Teddy Allen. What a year it's been for the 2023 MVP. Leads the league in scoring and gets the shooter's roll.
You know what? That's why you call him Teddy Buckets, right? He makes plays like those. Comes off there and a little bit unorthodox. I shouldn't say a little bit unorthodox. It was unorthodox, right? But he finds a way to make those plays.
Teddy averaging better than 29 points a game as Jones gets going. The oft-traveled Tevion Jones signed only 4 days ago by the Honey Badgers. Third CEBL team this season for Jones as Moon goes to work on East.
I'll tell you this much, this matchup between East and Xavier Moon is going to be fun today.
Moon just came back a little over a week ago. And there's the big fella we told you about him in the open. Tegra Ize draws the foul. Our keys to the game are presented by CDIC. Javon, let's get started with the CEBL.
Well, if you're Winnipeg, you got to contain Sean East, right? That's Brampton's engine. And if you're you know, you have Teddy Allen, you have Xavier Moon on your team, multiple scoring runs if you're Winnipeg, you know, 6, 12, 8-point runs. You know, if you can get a number of those, and target time identity, right? Against Vancouver, you've seen that both those guys were kind of deferring to one another, but you got to define yourself, right? In terms of Brampton's keys, attacking the switches, right? Winnipeg likes to switch. They like to switch aggressive and force you to turn it over, but find the matchups that you want to attack them. Know your personnel. Yes, there's, you know, some stars on the other side, but you can't forget about guys like Acott, Tillman, Osborne, and Burns. And be physical. You looked at the last game against Winnipeg, right? Winnipeg's last game against Vancouver, they just got out-toughed, outmatched. If you're Brampton, you got to take those game clips and apply that same type of physicality today.
All right, so this is what you saw. Tegra Ize, the 7-footer, going to work, draws the foul. And then afterwards, a little extracurricular, Emmanuel Acott getting into it with Matthew Moncrief. The official stepping in between.
Nothing too much. Just, hey, hello, how are you? Nothing to be concerned about. This is early in the game, and you know both teams are off to they have a different race going on. Brampton, if you look at the Eastern Conference standings, 2 through 5, it's bundled up, right? You could end up finishing the season second, or you can end up finishing the season last in the Eastern Conference. Winnipeg, you're trying to fight for, you know, first place in the Western Conference. So there's a sense of urgency that both teams right now are playing with, and you feel it in the first 2 minutes of this game.
So here's Ize, the 24-year-old from Montreal. th game of his rookie campaign in the pros. First start, as we mentioned. Misfires on the second, loose ball foul on Ize. And after all of that, it'll be a Winnipeg inbounds with 2:39 gone by in the opening quarter. So here's Xavier Moon, the 31-year-old, his third game with Winnipeg. Took a while for the SeaBears to get him his FIBA clearance. In Russia last fall. Of course, that decorated run with Edmonton as Teddy can't get the bucket to go. Now coast to coast, and that's Roddy Peters Jr., signed only 4 days ago by Brampton. Making his impact felt right away.
Impact right away, but that's defense to offense, right? Closing out the possession with a rebound and then pushing the length of the floor. Great transition, but Winnipeg, terrible transition defense by not stopping the basketball early on the floor, and you get an easy layup.
The whistle was for a delay of game warning to Matthew Moncrief after the bucket. Here's Acott running into Keon Ambrose Hilton. Back to Emmanuel, swung to Teddy, 5 to shoot, into the corner, heaves and connects.
That's tough. That is tough. That was some really good defense, stifling defense by Brampton, but just better offense by Teddy Allen, making an incredible shot in that right corner.
Isaiah Osborne whistled for the bump. We spoke with Alex Serta yesterday, Brampton's head coach, and his line was, look, if Teddy makes tough shots, he'll make tough shots.
Tough shots for Teddy are money shots, right? You look at that one there. He shot it behind the backboard, behind the stanchion, behind the support, but does a really good job of staying patient as Brampton tried to hurry them up defensively, get into them, and he just got to a spot there and did a light fade over that right shoulder, knocking it down.
We are 6 days removed from that 54-point performance by Allen as the answer comes from Brampton. Now Osborne left alone for 3. His shooting woes continue. Osborne has now missed his last 11 three-point shots. Make it a dozen without it falling.
You got to just keep taking them, right? That extra pass there, he gets that second kick out. You've still got to take them. Shooters got to have short-term memory.
It'll be a carry on Moncrief, the 25-year-old from Brampton.
Shoot till you make and make till you miss.
And it's an interesting one for Osborne. Look, he's 29 years old. He's a vet. He's played all over the world. He knows this league really well, and he's a good shooter when it's not going your way. How do you deal with that?
Well, like I said before, just have short-term memory. You've got to continue to take those shots. In his case, he's going to get a number of them because you have Allen on the floor who's going to have, draw a lot of attention, but also Xavier Moon who has a lot of gravity. So just being prepared and ready to take those shots.
That time it was Jordan Minor hounding Allen. Teddy with the bucket nonetheless to shave the lead to 2. Both teams into their bench. The pull-up, good. That's Brandon Muntu, and what a rookie season it has been for the native of Calgary. Started the season with the Surge, came over to Brampton, and the change of scenery has really helped Muntu. Allen from deep, controlled by DJ Burns. Here's Sean East, MVP on MVP. Kicked out to Muntu again. Won't go with the left hand, collects his own rebound. Now Jones, he's short, and it's Moon who will be whistled for the loose ball foul.
Yeah, and you see Brampton there, right? The last 2 offensive rebounds, they've got to continue to push it down, Winnipeg's throat. Force, be physical, and play with a ton of force.
Welcome back inside Canada Life Center. I'm Joey Slattery. It took a long time for Xavier Moon and Teddy Allen to see the floor together, but when they finally did, after weeks of waiting for Xavier Moon to get his clearance, it was fireworks. Teddy Allen had 54 points, and it was a double-double for Xavier Moon with 17 points rather, and 14 assists. After the game, they dubbed themselves Deadpool and Wolverine. A little bit of play on the Batman and Robin moniker most duos would get. Xavier Moon said he was happy to play Robin, but Teddy Allen said, no, we're both superheroes, and he looks to him for mentorship as a guy who's done it all and has seen it all. He's hoping to learn more throughout the season, but that first game particularly was a good answer for those that were skeptical if this duo could work. Guys?
Yeah, and Joey, you just never know how the ball is going to move between the two of them, and Mike Rainbow made this point. Teddy hit 9 threes in that first game against Montreal on his way to 54 points, but he said he had the most flat-footed threes.
Yeah.
And that went over the Alliance.
Yeah, and those are just kickouts, right? I think that duo right there, that tandem, Xavier Moon can make Teddy Allen better, right? And Teddy Allen can make the game easier with his ability to score the basketball and shoot the basketball, make it much easier for Xavier to get into the paint and create and navigate the floor. But I seen them against Montreal last Sunday, and the two of them were smiling, they were having fun, really good chemistry early on between them.
First look at Trey McGowans, who's short on the 3, rebound controlled by Simon Hildebrandt. Another offensive rebound for Winnipeg, but it's thrown into the hands of Sean East II. East missing 7 games this season for Brampton. 5 with NBA Summer League, a couple due to a workout with an NBA team, but he is back just in time for this stretch run as Keon Ambrose Hilton checks off.
Well, I mentioned it earlier as well. There's a ton of stars in this game. Xavier Moon, Teddy Allen, so forth. But Sean East, he's the player. He's one of the players that can be the best player on the floor on any given night. Doesn't matter who else is out there with him. So, I think I want to see him have a presence early on in this first half and really just control and dominate despite, the other 2 guys on the other side.
Last year with Edmonton, it was East who broke the single-season scoring record in CEBL history. 582 points on the year. Inside to Hildebrand, who muscles his way for the bucket and the foul.
It's a great job by Hildebrand there, being in the dunker spot, and he caught that basketball. You can see 3 yellow shirts closing in on him and doing a good job protecting himself. Look at the drop off right here. Great penetration, right, drops it off that dunk spot, protects himself, seals, and gets up to the rim for 2, and gonna get a chance for 3 at the stripe.
23-year-old Simon Hildebrand from Winnipeg. What a year it has been for him. Mike Rainbow telling us just how super important Hildebrand has been for the SeaBears. He said the energy Hildebrand brings, the blue-collar dirty work that he offers to the mix. Winnipeg by 1. Our first look at Cameron Tyson, who can shoot it. A little too strong that time. Tap to Teddy Allen. East forcing the turnover. Brampton with numbers. The triple. Good. Brandon Muntu again.
And Muntu's gonna get that 3, but you gotta credit Sean Easter for getting on the floor, right? Coming up, using your defense and translating it into some offense there. And then on the other end, Brampton, they gotta be prepared to attack the switches, right? Winnipeg now, they're switching in the last offensive court. They just look a little bit complacent. They're trying to figure it out, but you gotta know what's coming and find matchups.
Burns dribbled into the double team, but found a streaking Teddy Allen, and buckets has 9. Back into the hands of Teddy after the 3 doesn't go. Hildebrand inside to Acott, and Winnipeg leads by 4. Now did Acott get himself shaken up there? Wincing a little after the bucket. Kind of favoring that right knee area. East, no good on the 3. Tapped around into the hands of Muntu. Now the pull-up for Tyson doesn't go, and Hildebrand collects the rebound. Now Burns somehow doesn't go. Acott the rebound and the follow.
Yeah, right now Winnipeg is getting a lot in transition, and if there's a missed shot or a missed opportunity, they're getting those offensive rebounds and putting them back. But it starts on the offensive end, for Brampton. If they can get some higher quality shots, then you're also going to be in a position that your transition defense is going to be much more prepared.
Foul and free throws coming up for the Honey Badgers. It's interesting, we talked to Mike Rainbow yesterday, and he said offensive rebounds are just going to be so important for us.
But also, we talk about the defensive end. This is your best player getting on the floor, right? Coming up with the basketball. Now you're getting out in transition, big time 3, right? And for Brampton, if they can be the tougher team, right? They can be the grittier team, the nastier team, right? And not rely on talent, they'll look a lot better, than Winnipeg in this game. Because I think at times Winnipeg has a tendency to rely on their talent that's on the floor, whereas Brampton can muck up the game a bit.
Matthew Moncrief to the line. Today's Western Conference game is presented by Cal Tire. Moncrief, originally from Brampton, went to Orangeville Prep, then to Seattle University, averaging double figures for the Honey Badgers this season. Real important Canadian on that Brampton roster. Now here's Tillman, going to work on the 7-footer.
That's nice. That's nice, right? And, you know, for them, they got to include him and involve him in the offense a bit more, especially when he goes missing sometimes. Get him the rock and let him work. Have him be a part of this game because he's one of the best scorers on the floor, one of the best big men in the league.
Tillman's season starting to heat up. 6 of the last 7 games, he's reached double figures. And a travel for Moncrief there in the corner.
Tillman, familiar with Brampton, right? He won a championship with them, and you know, he was one of their secret weapons when they won the championship, especially in target time, where they would actually run their offense through him, slow the game down a bit. So you know he has the ability to score the basketball. You know he can handle shoulder responsibility, right? I don't think Moon and Teddy Allen can forget that he's on the floor because he can do a lot for them.
About a 6-second differential shot and game clock. Moon pulls the trigger, doesn't go. Izzy the rebound. Brampton can hold. The pass inside to Izzy, and it was Osborne who forced the turnover. And after 10 minutes, Winnipeg with a 6-point advantage, holding the Honey Badgers to 16 first quarter points. The Teddy Buckets Show, getting things going in Winnipeg. He has 9 after 1.
Gem.
After 1 in Winnipeg, the SeaBears and the Honey Badgers. Winnipeg can clinch a home playoff game with a win today, and they have come out firing, hitting 10 of 20 from the floor.
Yeah, 10 of 20, but a lot of those have been, you know, in transition and got some easy ones. But I thought, you know, Teddy Allen to start this game, this is why they call him Teddy Buckets, and leads the league in scoring. First, he starts with this janky shot right here. He had another one where he hit a tough shot. Here you see him getting behind the basket, behind the backboard here. A tough three. But he just finds ways to mix it up, inside, outside. And here you see him using his body, creating the space. And I'm not telling you any of those shots look pretty, but I'll tell you this much, he's pretty efficient getting to his spots and scoring the basketball. Really good start for Teddy Allen, Teddy Buckets.
9 points in 9 minutes for one of the best players in league history.
I'm not good at math. I'm not going to tell you I'm good at math, but what I will tell you that's a bucket per minute. So
there you go.
You keep him out. If you're Coach Rainbow right now, you got something going with him, and your offense got to go through him going into this second quarter right here. And even if he's not scoring, right, you can use that gravity, use that attention that he's going to draw and get some other guys open.
Second quarter underway at the Canada Life Center in downtown Winnipeg. Xavier Moon opening things up. The jumper doesn't go. Roddy Peters Jr. in traffic and the finish. How about Roddy Peters Jr., 31-year-old, signed 4 days ago. His first foray into the CEBL, made his debut against Saskatoon, arrived late to shoot around after his connecting flights were delayed.
And he's ready to go, like you see right here in transition. And you know, with late signings like that, and you only have a couple games as a player. You're in the mindset of, as soon as I touch this court, as soon as I lace up these shoes, I've got to produce, I've got to give something, and that's what he's done.
Hildebrand, it doesn't go. So yeah, so Peters arrives in Saskatoon. He's late for shoot. He had 2 connecting flights that got in late. And then that night, 15 points in 20 minutes on 6 of 7 shooting.
Well, welcome to the world of pro sports, right? And that's why these guys are pros, because they have the ability to just figure it out, right? That next play mentality and work through adversity.
It's really helped alleviate the guard play over there in Brampton. Gives it up, and Hildebrand whistled for the foul on Jordan Minor. Simon didn't like the whistle. So we talked about Peters being signed 4 days ago. How about Jordan Minor, who signed 3 days ago? As Minor steps to the line, Cal Tire is a proud partner and tire expert of the CEBL. Shop top tire brands and have peace of mind with Cal Tire's match guarantee. Shop and book at caltire.com. Jordan Minor's debut also came in Saskatoon. He played 11 minutes there, averaged 8 points a night in the G League this season. Shaves the SeaBears lead down to 3. Swung around, Moon, deep 3. Now the Honey Badgers, the stop, the pop off the window for East.
When you're playing up the floor like that, that's when East is really good. Advance the basketball, gets into the paint, bumps off the defense, and a controlled shot off of the glass.
Good position deep. Was that a shot or an errant pass?
It was
Mason
whatever you
Krause
want it
is
to
bumped.
be. Whatever you want it to be, that's what it was.
Danny G, we got another look at this. In football, this was the old tuck rule.
But listen, I'll tell you what makes it difficult. It's Teddy.
Right.
Right, and you never know if he's shooting it, if he's passing it. Like I said before, a lot of his shots look janky. So I still don't have an answer for you.
Looked like a pass. We'll call it a turnover instead of a missed shot. Mason Krause collects the rebound, and they say he threw it away. A nice job by Roddy Peters to sell it.
Yeah, Roddy's sticking with the play right. He gets that basketball, tips it off the back of Allen. Right, just always staying with it, playing through the whistle. Gets a tip off the back of Allen. Now you win your team another possession.
They're looking for someone to be a playmaker, a ball handler when they brought Peters into the mix. East can't get it to go. Went off his left knee, and Winnipeg ball. Two teams that need a win. Brampton on a 3-game losing skid. They started the year 5-0. Within the walls, they said, well, we're probably not this good. Then they went and got cold about a month ago and said, well, we're probably not this bad.
See, right now, you're getting a lot of perimeter play from Winnipeg, right? There you get Osborne coming out of that horns action onto the left side, left wing. Right, you probably could have given Tillman a look down low, right? He's got to get a touch because he's a force, right? If he gets that basketball, okay, you loosen up the defense a bit. Maybe he can create, maybe he can get something at the rim or kick it out.
We will step aside from Winnipeg where the SeaBears have the lead.
Welcome back inside Canada Life Centre in downtown Winnipeg, Manitoba. SeaBears leading the Brampton Honey Badgers by 1. Honey Badgers have gone through a bit of a slump, starting the season 7-1. They had some player movement throughout this part of the season, and they had a recent addition, Roddy Peters Jr. You guys were talking about him just before the break. Yeah, he had a trouble getting here, but he's filling a big role for this team. When we were talking to head coach Alex Serta, he was saying this guy is going to be an immediate contributor despite minimal onboarding. He was not getting, he's getting in here without getting a chance to look at the systems and just having to trust his intuition. He is a playmaker. He fills in ball handling and a creation gap that this team has desperately needed. And with Sean East back with him, this could be a dangerous duo. Guys.
Yeah, Joey, it certainly can. I mean, you're talking about adding a 31-year-old seasoned pro, as Roddy does magic for us with the bucket there. Look, you have somebody coming off averaging 17 and 8 in the Mexican League, but somebody who knows what it takes to play at the pro level.
Yeah, I think what you're also seeing with him, he understands how to assess the game really fast, right? On that last basket, immediately he had Xavier Moon in front of him, and he knew he had a small defender. I'm going to attack, I'm going to score, right? Or start this game 9 points and 4 rebounds early in this one, and I think, you know, you didn't get much onboarding, you don't get much practice in this league, and for him, it's just having a high IQ and understanding where to pick his spots, where to score, where to, you know, give it up and facilitate, like you see here in transition.
In transition, it was Tevion Jones extending the lead to 3, and now Sean East makes it a 5-point advantage. Quick timeout, Mike Rainbow, and all of a sudden, here come the Brampton Honey Badgers.
And you're doing it defensively, right? If you can neutralize Winnipeg by being physical, being disruptive, getting in passing leads, Sean East picks up another steal there. Now you get out in transition, easy baskets. Brampton can take control of this game in the second quarter.
So Sean East II is back into the mix. Again, last year with Edmonton set the single season scoring record in the league, was the runner-up for CEBL MVP, and East has been the engine of this Brampton team since coming back.
Well, you know, engine, and when you have an engine that, and players that run the wings like you see here, it makes it a lot easier, right? Especially for East as a point guard, and you know, he's giving you something on the defensive end. Here you see him getting a basket in transition. But if, you know, if you're the head of this snake, if you're the driver of this bus and you're committing on the defensive end and you can get out, run, and make things easy, right, you set the tone.
Well, Honey Badgers fans, Canada's Pro Basketball League is back. You can experience it live from the CAA Center. Scan the QR code on the screen or visit honeybadgers.ca/tickets today. Look, yesterday, some teams in the East did Brampton a favor. Scarborough and Montreal with wins. That keeps Brampton in second place in the East. Right around the time that Sean East comes back after the NBA foray, the Honey Badgers are in a position where they can really control their own destiny for number 2 in the conference.
Yeah, I think they got off to a good start this season, and now you're on the back end where every game, every possession counts. Right, I think, you know, they're in a dogfight, so, you know, you can't take any possession in this game lightly, any minute, you know, any quarter. And a guy like Sean East that's the leader of this team and also has had experience in this league, you know exactly what it's going to take come down the stretch.
Free throws on the way for Emmanuel Acott. 4th year in the CEBL for the Winnipegger, 3rd with the SeaBears. And Acott's been struggling of late. 5 of the last 6 games, the point production in the single digits, held to only 2 points twice in that stretch. Emmanuel only scored 4 against Vancouver on Thursday, and they're going to need him to get going here in the home stretch towards the playoffs.
I think when you look at his frame, you just look at his body right now, right? He's probably the most physically imposing player, right? And you look at, you know, his tool set, his skill set, right? Playing alongside Allen, playing alongside Moon and Tillman, right? He gives them versatility defensively, but also another outlet offensively while those guys take so much attention. So if you can get him going, right, it'll be a great situation for Winnipeg.
It's short, looking for the foul, and no whistle was Tavion Jones. Then a collision, some friendly fire underneath. All sorts of things happening on that sequence as Matthew Moncrief took the blunt end of it.
You know what? Guys just going after the basketball. Tough fight down low and wreckage on the floor there. Hopefully Moncrief is okay. He's going to get up and get himself to the free throw line.
And now we have another whistle. And a tech issued on Tavion Jones. Teddy Allen converts on the tech free throw. Not sure what that was about. Neither does Alex Serta. So after all of that, it's back to the free throw line for the 25-year-old Moncrief, averaging better than 10 points a night. And you see the rebounding total there. Number 3 in the league this season on the glass. Serta, who told us Moncrief impacts winning in so many different ways. Last couple of years, Moncrief mainly playing the 5 position, but now here with the Honey Badgers, been able to do a lot of different things on the perimeter, showcasing the skill set as East collects the rebound on the misfire from DJ Burns. Back inside to Moncrief, and Burns just rips it away from him. All alone is Teddy.
You can kind of see that coming, right? A couple times East has got into the paint and he's made plays, and you know, his last possession, Winnipeg collapsed the floor and came up with the steal, which they've been atop the league in steals this season, and now you get Teddy Allen outside leaking out, cherry picking for 2.
East is good. 6 points tonight for Sean East II. Was with the Utah Jazz G League affiliate earlier this season. Back out to Burns. And it's Moncrief who soars for the rebound.
And that's why he's, you know, top the league in rebounds, right? You see his shoulders, rim level, collecting that basketball.
They say they use Moncrief in the Draymond Green role here in Brampton. As Tyson is short on the 3, gets his own rebound. And East now has 5 to shoot. Gets by Mason Krause. He's short. And it's East who bumped Krause, and the loose ball foul going the other way.
That's a frustration foul right there, right? East gets into the paint and, you know, probably felt like he was fouled and now picks up a careless one.
Easiest of Teddy Allen's 12 points comes here.
A little defense, Burns comes up with that steal, right? 2 dribbles, kicks it up, and Teddy, that was his prettiest basket. I'll say that was his prettiest one.
Well, Winnipeg hit the lottery when they landed Teddy Allen again, and Lotto Max now gives you even more chances to win. With new prizes of $100,000 every draw, get your Lotto Max ticket now. Must be 18 plus. So Brampton with a 3-point lead led by rookie coach Alex Serta, and he says he's been familiar with the CEBL for quite a while because he was following the Calgary Surge when Nelson Taroba was the head coach over there with the Surge a few years ago. Matter of fact, Taroba has been one of Serba's main mentors got him into coaching at the AAU level, and then on the G League side, Taroba was also the best man at Serta's wedding. Serta just says, I owe so much to the guy who's become one of my best friends, who got me into this line of work, and now it's all come full circle with Serta becoming a head coach for the first time at the pro level. It's just amazing how small the sports world is, and then the basketball world is even smaller.
Yeah, and I'll say this, right? You know, we focus so much on basketball, but once these guys retire, the things that they're going to remember are the relationships and the times they've had, you know, the good times, the fun times they've had out with their teammates and so forth, so forth. Those become, you know, their brotherhood. That becomes a brotherhood, you know, sisterhood, and those relationships go far beyond, you know, the wins and the losses and the score at the end of the buzzer. So, you know, it's great to see stories like that, and a number of these guys are just going to continue to expand and build, you know, there are basketball relationships that translate into lifelong friendships.
Serta began as a video coordinator at the pro level, then moved on to assistant coaching you saw with the Texas Legends. That's where he worked with Al Whitley, who's now the president in Brampton. Serta trying to calm down Tavion Jones, who picked up the tech. And Jones is such a story. I mean, look, already on his third team this year. And Serta told us this week there's some non-negotiables now with Tavion, because here's somebody, he talked about your body language off the court is so important. You have to listen with your eyes as a pro, and you don't want to wear out your welcome too many places, especially when you have the talent to play with so many top teams anywhere in the world. 3 to shoot for Winnipeg. Here's Moon through the lane. Won't go. But rebound corralled by Burns. Kick back to Teddy, who has all the time.
Teddy just looks really comfortable. You know, for Brampton there, that's an unforced turnover. And, you know, fortunately for Winnipeg, they come up with it. And Teddy Allen's right there at the three-point line.
15 points in as many minutes for Teddy Allen. East has his shot rim out. Moon now wants to pick up the pace. We're tied at 30, second quarter in Winnipeg. And it'll remain SeaBears balls as we go courtside to Joey, who is listening in on that Honey Badgers huddle.
Yeah, Rash, you were just talking about Tavion Jones. Throughout that timeout, Tavion Jones went over to the referee as he was coming to give the warning to break off, and he was saying, can I clap? He's clearly frustrated. We've seen this look with Tavion Jones when he's here. He's a competitive guy, wasn't happy with the call, and then using that kind of energy, Alex Serta was reminding his team, you have to win the quarter possession by possession. You have to put the past in the past, guys.
Yeah, and if you're Tavion Jones, you have to put the past in the past. The Teddy Allen show continues.
That's back-to-back threes for Teddy, right? And the basketball just finds the right place, right time. Shot goes up. Okay, offensive rebound. Now the best shot in the game is at the three-point line, and he's there waiting, shot ready.
Sean East often shot ready. Rebound controlled by Keon Ambrose Hilton. Now the triple drive. Roddy Peters. So Brampton continues to hang around. 1 point game. Just under 3 minutes to go in the first half. Moon to Burns. Won't go. And Roddy told Matthew Moncrief, I got this. Except he doesn't. Here's DJ Burns. Peters just lost control, and Winnipeg made them pay. The foul away from the ball.
A couple of Brampton's turnovers have just been unforced. You see Peters here just a little bit too much with it. Burns comes up with that basketball again, and it gets out, you know, for the easy two there.
Simon Hildebrand taking a breather. Here's East. He draws a crowd. Over to Muntu. Short. Mason Krause the rebound. Teddy Allen has 18 points this afternoon. His co-star Xavier Moon open with a bucket, has been held scoreless since. Now in transition, Jordan Minor with the flush. So Peters, Jones, and Minor all added this week into the mix for Brampton. Peters with a team high 11. And Teddy's fouled. The help came, but just a little too much contact. You know, we've spoken with Mike Rambo a few times throughout the season. He's just talked about the buy-in from Teddy this season, how committed he is to winning. The production's always been there, but it feels like it's a new version of Teddy Allen here in 2026 in Winnipeg.
Yeah, I think, you know, he's done a great job rebranding himself, right? He's had a couple bumps in the road early on when he started his career with Scarborough here. And, you know, just seeing him, even with Winnipeg, like this is his second go-around with Winnipeg, right? And, you know, just to see him be more mild-mannered, more mature, and still doing the same, you know, scoring the basketball with the same efficiency and same volume that he has, it just shows the growth in his game.
He is the face of the franchise with these SeaBears. And that's a tough bucket from Cameron Tyson as Tavion Jones showing what a teammate he can be. Trey McGowan's thought about it. A minute to go in the half. Here's Trey, who's reactivated after sitting the last couple of games, and there's the alley-oop. Brampton getting in on the party. Matthew Moncrief. And the Honey Badgers lead by 1. Here's Teddy, he's got a lane, and he gets by Moncrief.
He's just so good, man. He's so good at using angles to score the basketball. You see they're not the quickest, but gets that step and then has that shoulder and a lead at the rim.
6-second differential, shot clock and game clock. Donovan Bennett and the panel standing by for your halftime analysis, and it's free throws on the way for Roddy Peters Jr.
Little lob on Moncrief above the rim and transition basketball. Brampton just getting out and running and keeping himself in the game with those easy runouts and flowing into some easy looks.
So Teddy will take a breather with 10.4 seconds to go. By the way, you can follow CEBL League on all social platforms. You can stay up to date on storylines, standout stats, and more for all 10 teams in Canada's Pro Basketball League. The countdown to the playoffs is on in the CEBL. Ten seconds to go. Teddy faces Matthew Moncrief. Teddy gets by Moncrief at the horn.
Tough. That is tough.
The Teddy Allen show continues. 24 in the first half for buckets.
Hey, look at this, just finding a way, keeping his dribble alive, then off of that left foot. He doesn't need, oftentimes you tell shooters to stay balanced, right? Shoot off 2. Teddy can shoot off 2, he can shoot off left foot, he can shoot off right foot. Just really good at squaring his shoulders and just concentrating on the shot.
24 points in 19 minutes for Teddy Allen. Winnipeg can clinch a home playoff game with a win today. Brampton can hold on to second spot in the East with a victory, looking to snap a 3-game losing skid. I mean, you need a win, you got Teddy Allen. It seems that simple.
You know what? You look at, what he's done in this first half, 24 points, and it almost looks like he ran off to the locker room. He's that hot. Probably forgot, we need an interview from you. We need something. We got to talk to you. But no, I think he's done a great job in this first half of really keeping his team, ahead, right? 1-point lead going into the half right now. And, you haven't had the most production from Xavier Moon, but if you got Teddy Allen, you're safe.
It's been back and forth. Brampton with the new additions. Winnipeg up by 1. Donovan Bennett and company after the break on the CEBL.
Well, it has been a game of runs, CEBL on CBC. Both teams had a chance to put a stamp on it, but in terms of the stars that we talked about coming in, it's really been that star of one. Javon, Teddy Allen, even when the shots were contested, it didn't seem to matter.
Listen. Teddy Buckets Teddy Buckets is what we're gonna go with.
Well, was he not Wolverine?
Well, listen, he was everything, right? And I really like what he did in the first half. He started out with some tough shots like you see here, right? The first one was a floater, and you see this one behind the backboard here, tough shot. But then you see the maturation in his game where the basketball just found him, but also picking out matchups that he liked, right? Finding a small defender, staying poised, creating space, and then there was a couple broken plays where the basketball just found him. Right space, right time, and also, showing you he's cutting to the basket as well, right? right? Not just isolation plays, not just the one-on-one Teddy Allen, right? Doing it on the defensive end, right? And also getting his teammates involved. Here, he put a little dazzle on, a little razzle-dazzle, getting his teammates involved. But you're getting passing, you're getting defense, and you know he's going to score, but I like how he's scoring the basketball for his team, his CEBLs team, because it's in the flow of the offense, and he's letting the basketball find him.
Well, if we're giving out nicknames, Coach, can I call Roddy Peters the conductor? Hasn't missed a shot, 5 rebounds, but leading Brampton in transition specifically.
Well, transition's all about how do you run off of misses, how do you run off of makes, how do you run off of live ball turnovers. You go in straight lines if you can, and you run with 5. Roddy Peters does a great job. Nobody stops him. But I think the key part is he runs the break with the dribble, and then they search out. They push the ball, but the bigs run the floor, open the lanes, great screen inside. This is the difference when you run with 5 or run with 2 or 3. Again, on the miss, clear out, all 5 guys run, and they get advantage. Not as quick as the other ones, but Shawnee's gets to where he wants to go, and it's straight line attacks. Winnipeg has to stop it. You turn the ball over, again, get advantage. 3 on 2, they push it. And then if you turn it over and you make one bad mistake, then it becomes a highlight film. And Moncrief runs the floor and takes care of business.
I think what also helps there, that transition plays. You look at how Winnipeg is shooting basketball, 3 for 13 from the 3-point line. So if you're Brampton, right, you got to close out those possessions with rebounds, which they've done well in that first half. And then to your point, now you get those athletes pushing the basketball the length of the floor and challenge, Winnipeg's transition defense.
Well, Teddy Allen had a straight line drive straight to the locker room, so it'll be DJ Burns standing by with our own Joey Flattery.
DJ, I know coming into this game, rebounding was a big area of concern for you guys and trying to find those bodies. It's been dead even at 21 rebounds apiece. What have you been doing well? Where can you do better?
Really, just like you said, finding bodies. We just got to be more of the aggressors. Even we feel like we're not doing our job as well as we can, and we got a lot more to prove, a lot more to do. So that's what we're going to talk about at halftime, and I think we're going to get it done in the second half.
Brampton really capitalized on the transition game. How do you slow them down?
Yeah, just not making turnovers, not making bad decisions, being good basketball players. I think that's why we're all here with the Winnipeg SeaBears, is just because we're real good basketball players. So we just got to play our game, nothing new, nothing extra, and we're going to get the job done.
All right, thank you so much, DJ. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Well, DJ is confident they're going to get the job done. Stick around to find out a lot more to do. You heard it there first. Second half action of a 1-point game from Winnipeg. It's the CEBL on CBC. The women's artistic gymnastics continues from Glasgow International Arena. Now, Canada led by Ellie Black and burgeoning talent Leah Monica Fontaine. Now, Fontaine places second overall in the floor exercise with a score of 13.200. That sets up Canada very nicely for the final rotation. And look at Captain Ellie Black in the vault. Black has been in the program as long as Fontaine has been alive. She goes for Sukara with 1.5 twists. That earns the second highest score in the apparati, 13.950. That secures a silver behind Australia for their fourth medal of the games. Well done, ladies. And our wall-to-wall coverage of the 2026 Commonwealth Games continues. You can begin streaming the action early tomorrow on GEM. Bulls gets things going for you very early. And then join Andy Petrillo right here on CBC for our network coverage beginning at 1 p.m. Eastern. And it is not just Commonwealth Games times, it is clutch time in the CEBL, which means teams add to the rosters, trying to solidify those playoff rosters for the end of the season. And we got some heavy hitters, some former MVPs being added to teams there, some guys who know the league, who know it a little bit less. And the question for you fellas is, given these additions, does it swing the balance of power for you in terms of who you think might be the favorite to win it all in the CEBL this year?
No, for me, I think, all those players, tremendous players, and I think when you have 3 or 4 games on the back end of the season, I don't know if that's enough fabric or enough time to build the chemistry that you need for it to completely change, and shift that power. For me, it's still Scarborough, right? When you look at how the playoff format has changed, right? And if Scarborough can lock in home court advantage, I look at their record right now, they've only lost 1 game at home, right? So if they can have home court all the way through, I think that is probably more impactful and influential on, a championship more than a player late in the season.
See, I think the biggest difference maker is Mitch Creek. Here's a guy who's a veteran. He's a veteran of the league. He's a veteran of being to the finals. He's a veteran of target time. He's Mr. Accountable on that Vancouver lock. They've been good without him. With him, I think they're even better. I think their practices are better. I think that he keeps them focused. They will be incredibly dangerous, and look for Vancouver, even though they made a coaching change, to make a deep run.
Yeah, I think with Mitch as well, what he is, he's also probably the best leader, of any of the players that I've seen in the CEBL. So in that locker room, he's going to change a lot as well. But for me, it's the home court. I got to go home court.
I love it. We shall see. And guess what? We will see 2 guys that you didn't mention. So don't get mad at me, Honey Badger and SeaBears fans, because it could be Winnipeg, it could be Brampton, based off of Moon and East. We'll see in the second half who can step up. 1-point game. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to Winnipeg. I'm here with Alex Serta, head coach of the Brampton Honey Badgers. Coach, good run on transition for your team. What have you been seeing in terms of what's been working for you and where you're finding success on that transition?
Yeah, I think our offense starts with our defense, getting those collected stops, making them score through bodies, defending without fouling. When a shot goes up, that's when the game starts. When we get those stops, we really talked about the running habits, looking to play with pace, downhill force, break the paint mentality, and just get good shots from there.
It's a one-point game. You gave up 41, but 24 of those points are to Teddy Allen. How do you slow him down in the second half?
Yeah, just got to make him earn it. He's a really good player. Contain, contest, defend without fouling, show your hands. It takes 5 people guarding on the ball, being in your shifts, and just make his life a little bit more difficult. But we'll live with the results as long as we force him to shoot tough shots.
All right, Coach, thank you so much. Best of luck in the second half. Rash.
Yeah, Joey, thanks. 24 of Winnipeg's 41 points in the first half came from Teddy Allen as we revisit the keys to the game presented by CDIC.
Yeah, I thought, Brampton got better attacking the switches in the second quarter. Also, when they were playing in transition, you don't have to rely on that, right? Knowing your personnel, looking at the other guys on the floor, 7 Winnipeg bench points. And if you're looking at Winnipeg's keys, right, contain Sean East, only 6 points in that first half, and you want to continue to do that, multiple scoring runs, right? Their biggest one was 11 points. You want to have a couple more of those. Then you'll get to target time, and then we'll really get to see, okay, the balance of Moon and Teddy Allen like we see here. And I think that's where this team will have to grow quick, especially on the back end of the season.
The keys to the game presented by CDIC. Second half underway, and Roddy Peters, who was electric in the first half with 15, opens the third quarter with a pretty easy bucket to give Brampton the lead. Second game in the CEBL for Roddy Peters Jr., signed only 4 days ago. Here's Emmanuel Acott from downtown. Won't go. East the rebound. Now Moncrief through traffic, and he finishes with the right hand.
Right, changing ends of the floor so fast, where you get the basketball up the floor, 18 seconds still on the clock, and you're getting a shot at the basket.
It's the CEBL on CBC. Arash Madani, Javon Shepard, Joey Slattery with you. The SeaBears can clinch a home playoff game with a win today. Brampton looking to snap a 3-game losing skid in second place in the Eastern Conference behind Scarborough. The Honey Badgers with 4 new additions to their team over the last week or so. And this is the group they're going to go with down the stretch. Here's Teddy Allen, who picks up where he left off.
Yeah, great shot by Teddy, but if you're Brampton, you can't allow that. You had to switch. You got to stay attached to Teddy. He's hot, right? Everybody in the arena knows that. 24 points in that first half. You got to be stuck on his hip and not allow him any space getting out to his shots.
Allen 4 of 7 from distance tonight as Tegra Ize, the 7-footer, converts. Here's Allen again, fouled. And 3 free throws coming up for Teddy Buckets.
Teddy, after that first one, comes back right back down and says, okay, give me the rock. I'm going to figure something out. Herky-jerky. He goes and catches that basketball, right? Pushes it out, goes and gets it, and the defense is trailing. It's tough to contest those shots. And now you have to have a sense of urgency getting out there because he has 27 points, right? Through two quarters and, a minute here, and picks up this foul. But again, it's not allowing him the space early on and really crowding him, right? And the best defense sometimes for a guy like that that's this hot, this early, is just not allowing him to get a touch on the basketball. If he doesn't have it, he can't score it.
He's had it a lot tonight. An 88% free throw shooter on the season is Teddy Allen. It's 2 of 3, has 29 on the afternoon, and we are tied early in this third quarter. Back inside, Osborne stripping Tavion Jones. So Jones is back into the game. He picked up a tech late in the second quarter. Alex Serta sat him, and the turnover forced by Xavier Moon.
And right now, Shawnee's got to pick it up, right? When you look over at the other team, you see Teddy Allen going off like this, and you're the best player for your team, you've got to have a presence, and that presence has got to be loud.
East held to only 6 points on 3 of 10 from the floor. And it's been the Teddy Allen show so far. Tied at 46 at the Canada Life Center in Winnipeg. Most electric atmosphere in the CEBL. Here's East. A little too strong. Moon with the rebound. Unable to finish. You wondered, was that going to be a goaltend on Izzy? Wasn't called. There's big Jeremiah Tillman. We haven't said his name much today.
Not much. It's been a Teddy show.
And this time Allen with his hand caught in the cookie jar. And a tech to follow. So Teddy didn't like the reach-in whistle. Collects the tech on the way. That's our 3rd technical already in this game. Mike Rainbow, first-year head coach with these SeaBears. And it's Sean East who will shoot the free throw.
It's one of those YMCA plays, right? Anytime you reach around or try and poke at the basketball, you give the officials the authority to make that call, right? So I know he doesn't like it, but he's also got to be smarter, right? In that, especially with the first half and, you know, the start to this 3rd quarter that he's had, you've got to be on the floor.
So Sean East starting now to find his way in this 3rd quarter. Here's Moon, no Teddy Allen. He comes off after the tech. Trey McGowan's will lose the handle, remains Winnipeg ball with 12 on the shot clock. Keon Ambrose Hilton checks back in, the 24-year-old from Toronto. Off the screen. Swung back to McGowan's, pocket 3. Won't go. Tapped into the hands of East. Roddy Peters will control it. Trying to find Ambrose Hilton, but misfired.
Yeah, they looked a little confused as to what they wanted to get into, what offense they were setting up there, right? You came down and, you know, just held the basketball, and everybody's ball watching until there was about 14 seconds on the shot clock, and, you know, now you try and play a little one-on-one.
Back to McGowan's. They were looking for Tillman. Kick back out to Moon. Pull up from the elbow is money.
See, and that's why I want the basketball to go into Tillman a bit more, right? That one touch to Tillman, you know, they get it inside, he makes the right play, and you get Xavier Moon, you know, a much easier shot.
You want to get Moon going, only has 6 points so far today. Inside, and Ambrose Hilton is bumped.
And I think it's the perfect time as well to try and get him going, right? When you have Teddy Allen on the bench, now you don't have to force feed Teddy, because he's been hot, right? So Xavier can get himself going, but also Tillman Jr. can touch the basketball, and both those guys can start to get into more of a little flow in this game.
Well, you can scan the QR code for your chance to win the ultimate CEBL finals trip, courtesy of redtag.ca. You could score round-trip flights and courtside seats to the CEBL finals. Visit cebl.ca/redtag for full contest details. Ambrose Hilton knocks them both down. Tell you what, 6'8", he has a motor. Keon Ambrose Hilton, Brampton extends the lead to 4 with 4 minutes gone by in this third quarter.
Brampton's got to take advantage of this time right now, right? Teddy Allen's on the bench with his 4th foul with 6 minutes to go. 6 minutes to go, excuse me, in this third quarter.
They started with the Moncrief block. Now East, the pull-up. And Sean East is starting to heat up. Allen remains on the bench, a spectator. And now Mike Rainbow assessed a technical foul. And the frustration starting to mount for the Winnipeg SeaBears. And Teddy Allen better watch himself. He already has 1. It's a 7-point Brampton lead. And part of it may be today's whistles. Part of it may be our gas tank may not be full. Part of it may be we're frustrated with how we played the other day against Vancouver. Add it all up, and the Honey Badgers have their biggest lead of the day. Here's Xavier Moon. He has a little space and knocks it down. A triple for Moon. And now a loose ball foul on DJ Burns. Or did they call it 3 in the key? There's a delay of game warning on Burns, so the triple will count. Maybe it's time to just put the whistles away for a moment, huh? Brandon Muntu. No. East the rebound. And they're gonna get Mason Krause for a foul.
I mean, judging on this angle, I thought Krause pinned in East's ankle there. Get this loose ball here and bodies flying. Again, East from the first to the floor. Just a crafty little. Let me try and hold him down a bit. I don't think he's as innocent as he's proclaiming.
McGowan's on the break. And he'll get a couple of free throws. It is time for a collective exhale, I think, on the court for everybody.
I think both these teams are fighting for different reasons, right? And you're kind of seeing it. You know, they're trying to figure it out, trying to, you know, have it come together. You know, for Winnipeg, it's the, you know, the balance between Teddy and Xavier and all this anticipation of Xavier and, you know, this dynamic duo, right? It's not a guaranteed sure shot that these guys are gonna just run you into, you know, championship or run you into your next few wins, right? There's still a lot to figure out there. And then obviously on the other side, Brampton, I think there's a little bit more depth there in terms of, you know, from player 1 down to 12. But their sense of urgency is, you know, you look at the standings and it's got to be in the back of the players' minds. It's got to be the back of, you know, your coaching staff mind and front office and so forth. You know, you could, you know, finish this regular season as number 2, or you can finish, you know, as the 5th seed in the Eastern Conference, and that would put you out of the playoffs. So,
right.
2 different battles going on here.
Hildebrand collects the rebound on the East miss. Burns looking around. Burns puts it up, gets his own rebound, and loses control. It'll be Honey Badgers ball. A much needed timeout on the floor for everybody. Brampton, Winnipeg. It's gotten a little scattered. Well, it's Javon Shepard who said in the second half, Sean East has to take over. He has 7 points in the third quarter, already surpassing what he did in the first half.
Yeah, you know, he's gotten himself going on the defensive end first, right? 3 steals for him, and he knows it, right? Going into the second half, you have to play big. You have to play louder. You are the engine to this team. You're the engine, you're the steering wheel, you're the wheels, you're everything. You are the car to this Brampton team. So he's got to look over at the other side and say, hey, with the other guys on the floor, I've got to be the best player. When the best player on your team is the best player on the floor, you give yourself a better chance at winning.
Let's go down the courts. Let's go down courtside to Joey.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Talking about Sean East, I mean, this is a guy who is an NBA fringe talent, as Alex Serta has put it. He's played in the Rising Stars game this past year at NBA All-Star Weekend, and he can score. He was the all-time leading scorer in a single season last season, recently broken by Teddy Allen. But Keon Ambrose Hilton's played with him for 2 years now. They played in Edmonton last year, where they had a great run into the playoffs. A 7-game win streak helped them out there, and he said, while he might have the reputation of taking too many shots, he said he's improved his game, and he's great on the screen and roll, and they know it's not over until it's over, as they learned last year in Edmonton. Guys.
Joey, thanks. It was interesting talking to Serta. He said, I believe that Sean, as Moon will collect the foul and head to the free throw line, Serta's point on Sean East was, I believe he can be a third-string point guard in the NBA. And that's coming from a G League coach. So he's starting to heat up. Xavier Moon wants to do the same. Moon's third game with Winnipeg after finally getting his FIBA clearance. 17 points, 14 assists last Sunday against Montreal. And then Thursday against Vancouver, logged 37 minutes and scored 15 points. Will be a massive factor, not only down the stretch, but in the postseason for the SeaBears, who have tied this thing at 55, just past the midway point of the third quarter. East no good there. Burns the rebound on the one and done. Moon slows things down. Hildebrand sets the screen, and good.
That's tough, and he called that right. He cleared out that left side, right, and went downhill. That defense is in that drop coverage. Brampton's in drop coverage. He has all the time in the world. He's such a really good mid-range player that you're guarding him for the drive because of his quickness, and he just pulls up.
Jones no good on the three. Controlled by the Honey Badgers. Now 6 on the shot clock. The triple is good. It's East again. So Sean East has turned it up here in this third quarter, and so is Xavier Moon.
This is what we came here for.
Yeah.
This is what we want to see. Now we got a show.
The Superstar Showdown. With Teddy Allen on the bench, it's Moon v. East. MVP on MVP finalist, as Krause will be whistled for the foul. Time now for the cruise of the game, presented by Cal Tire.
He's cruising right into this indeed. Right. Gets to that left side, stops, pops, looks so comfortable. We've seen him do it time and time and again, except we're accustomed to seeing him do it in a yellow jersey, in an Edmonton jersey. Now you see him again knocking down another one. And he still looks so comfortable just scoring the basketball at will, wherever he wants. Just gets to his spots because of his speed, because of his quickness. But he's just so much more poised now. Again, like, he's not hunting shots, he's not hunting baskets, but he's just surveying the floor every time he has the basketball in his hands.
So on top of everything else, Sean East is a pretty good free throw shooter. 90.6% clip. A 26-year-old from Louisville, Kentucky, began his college career at UMass, ended at Mizzou, had a couple of stops in between. Knocks down both free throws. And we are tied at 60. Brampton badly wants a win here as Moon is fouled on the way.
You know, he's such a smart player. They ran this action before he got to that mid-range off the left side. Now they come back down, empty out that left side, and he sees that the defense is pressing up, right, and enforcing, you know, the defender to go under and get back in front of him. So he rejects a screen and then goes to the middle of the floor and gets himself to the free throw line.
So Xavier Moon came to the CEBL, won all those MVPs, and then he went on to California with the Clippers between the NBA and the G League team, and then to Russia for the 2024 season, won MVP with Zenit St. Petersburg. A knee injury followed. He's back in the CEBL, this time with Winnipeg, and the SeaBears have been patient. Moon was practicing with the team while he was waiting for the paperwork to get cleared up. It finally has. And now with Moon and Allen, the SeaBears feel they have the best 1-2 punch in the CEBL.
I think what makes him so unique, right, is, you know, there's two things you can't teach in basketball. It's size and it's speed, right? And he has elite level speed, but also his change of speed is what makes him so lethal as a scorer.
Short on the triple there. DJ Burns collides with a photographer. Felt he was fouled. Doesn't get the whistle. Moon has 16. And Teddy Allen remains on the bench. The question is now for how long?
I still think going into that fourth quarter, if he, you know, with those 4 fouls, he's probably going to be there for those first 2 minutes of that fourth quarter. And then you kind of gamble. If you're Coach Mike Rainbow, you're going to gamble a bit to see, hey, can we play him and lead into that target time?
McGowan's whistled for the reach in. Both teams are over the limit. Bonus situation and free throws on the way. .206 to go in the third quarter. Winnipeg by 2. We waited a half for Sean East to get going. He has ignited. Now has 19 on the day.
You kind of feel like both teams really haven't gotten a rhythm yet. Like no team has had a 9-0 run or, really broke this game open. The biggest lead for both teams have been 6 and 7 respectively, right? You've got to imagine that at some point, one of these teams is going to have a big run in there.
There's Osborne, Isaiah Osborne with the bucket. It was interesting even coming into this, Mike Rainbow wondering about the gas tank of his team, playing 2 games Thursday night then Saturday afternoon. Brampton had the travel from Saskatoon. Here's McGowan's, gives it up to Burns, and now regains possession. Osborne to Moon, the triple. Now Acott pulls the trigger. And just like that, the SeaBears lead by 6.
And what was one of my keys to start this game is remembering the other guys, right? And Acott right now coming down and hitting a big shot out from an offensive rebound, knocking down a big shot for Winnipeg. Teddy Allen on the bench, right? Xavier Moon not knocking down shots right now. But you have guys like Emmanuel Acott on the floor. You got to have a sense of urgency getting out to him as well, and just making sure that those guys are at bay.
Acott had been struggling coming into this game. How badly did he need that triple as we take a look at the red tag path to the playoffs and the standings? Wow, at the bottom of your screen, the Calgary Surge, don't forget, began the year 0-10, and all of a sudden,
coaching change as well.
They're in the conversation with Dave DeViro running the show there.
You're Edmonton, like you're sweating buckets right now, right? You look at the standings in both the East and the West. There's one safe team right now, and that's the Scarborough Shooting Stars, right? Everybody else is in a race for something. Everybody else is looking behind them.
So Winnipeg still has a chance to sew up home court advantage through the playoffs. And Xavier Moon is going to be a big part of it if the SeaBears are to do it. With more on Moon, let's go to Joey.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Xavier Moon, it's been a bit of a tough road to get to this point. He's been here for weeks. The moon landing happened a long time ago, but he only took off 2 games ago. And when he came in here, there were some issues with his clearance, but his record speaks for himself. 3-time MVP, 2-time champion. People know what they're getting with him, but it's taken through the process of practicing with the team. He said it was pent-up energy getting into the game. He knows this team. He's built chemistry. He knows everything in and out when it comes to the playbook. And then when he got out, he said, I feel like I'm going to be shot out of a cannon. And he was. He had 17 points, 14 assists. Tonight, he's got 16. It looks like he might eclipse that after what was a bit of a rough outing for him in his second game here against Vancouver on Thursday night.
Joey, thanks. Third game for Moon with the SeaBears. Second for Roddy Peters with Brampton. They talked about Peters being a seasoned pro. He has shown that today. He brings a toughness. Has 18 on the afternoon. And Jeremiah Tillman got into a battle there with Matthew Moncrief.
They're making sure that they're physical with him, right, and not allowing him to establish position. Credit Moncrief there, just get low, and low man always wins, right? Lower center of gravity getting into him, and you know, Tillman looked like he almost gave up on that play there.
Final minute, third quarter. It's interesting because they started Izze, the 7-footer. Now they've gone with Moncrief on Tillman, and he's kind of been rendered on the offensive end. He's basically been invisible. Now Moon's fouled, and bodies all over the place again, and Xavier will head to the stripe. Of course, you're watching Canada's Pro Basketball League, Season 8 of the CEBL. You can catch all the action this summer from coast to coast on CBC Gem. Hard to believe, just a couple of weeks away from the playoffs getting underway. New format this season. The finals will be a best of 3. Home and away as Moon knocks down the first free throw. And with Teddy Allen on the bench, Xavier Moon has just taken over this third quarter for the SeaBears. And now East is whistled. McGowan's can't believe it. And it's Sean heading back to the free throw line. McGowan's pleading his case. Mason Krause checking back in for Winnipeg, the University of Manitoba product. Been a good season for Krause, his first full year playing in the CEBL. So you're Brampton, you get Sean East back into the mix. You've added Jones and Peters and Minor. You know Flowers is waiting and should be able to go for the final couple of games of the regular season. It's a new look Brampton team. What do you make of this Brampton team?
I like it, right? I think, you know, like any other team in the league right now, you're trying to figure out some things. You're trying to iron out some things. I think for Brampton in particular, right? Are you going to have the commitment from everybody? Is everybody going to be on the same page and have a sense of urgency, and also play selfless basketball? Because it's not always going to be your night, but are you willing to take the step back? Are you willing to give up the shot? Are you willing to, you know, get on the floor and get loose balls or double team and, you know, make the gritty plays?
Moon can't get it to go. Trying to make the gritty play is Burns. Giving up. Getting by Krause is Muntu, and Brandon Muntu, just as time expires, will cash in on the bucket. Danny Allen telling Mike Rainbow, I'm ready to go, coach. Fourth quarter on the way. 6 minutes away from target score time. Arrested Teddy Buckets. As the CEBL on CBC continues from Winnipeg. Winnipeg leads by 2 after 3, and Xavier Moon in that third quarter took over for the SeaBears.
Yeah, he's a closer, right? And he's a bucket getter. He understands like the moment. He's a late clock shot maker, right? You get him the basketball and he'll figure out, you know, what needs to be done, whether it's a basket or whether he needs to make a play for his teammates. But you give him the basketball and he can figure out, you know, what to do with it.
You see the bench points, hasn't been a lot of contributions. It's been the usual suspects for both teams getting it done after 30 minutes. Of course, Xavier Moon back into the mix in the CEBL. Many in this league remember him with Edmonton and all the success they had there with the Stingers.
Yeah, I remember when he first dressed up, you know, for the Stingers. We knew him as Jamario Moon's nephew, a former Toronto Raptor, and you know, his first year, second year, third year playing, he became Xavier Moon. Like, he was a household name on his own, right? And really carved out a career for himself and continues to play at a high level.
The Moon family here in Winnipeg today at Canada Life Center made the trip from Alabama, where Xavier Moon was a two-sport athlete at Central Coosa High School in Hanover, Alabama, was a quarterback on the football team, and on the basketball team, the leading scorer in the state. Fourth quarter underway here in Winnipeg. SeaBears, Honey Badgers. With Joey Slattery and Javon Shepard, I'm Arash Madani. There's the triple from Trey McGowan's. A win today will clinch a home playoff game at least for Winnipeg. They have their sights set on top spot in the Western Conference. There's Moncrief, who got whistled for the push-off, and who else accepting the charge but Simon Hildebrand.
There, right, moving his feet, getting in front of Moncrief. I thought Moncrief would have got away with it, but instead he extended that forearm. Hildebrand here, good job just sliding those puppies, getting in front, right? Takes it on the chops there, Moncrief trying to find his way to the rim.
But again, that off arm there is where you give the officials a clear call on offensive foul.
I don't know if this is an official stat in basketball. My sources tell me it's not. But Mike Rainbow told us that Simon Hildebrandt leads the CEBL in most elbows to the face this season. Hildebrandt and the SeaBears lead by 5. Osborne hounded by Muntu. The 3 doesn't go. McGowan's. It's retreated to Moon, 7 to shoot. Back to Tillman. And it'll remain Winnipeg ball with 2 on the shot clock. The inbounders, McGowan's looking for Hildebrandt. Did he get it off in time? He did not. Shot clock violation. Tavion Jones there in Hildebrandt's face.
Tavion Jones, just great awareness, right? They've ran this play for Allen and the Moon coming out of that strong side corner, but he's right under the basket for the slip on Hildebrandt right here. Challenges the shot. That split second on the challenge is where you get that shot clock violation.
And another charge, this time Jones, and who else but Big 15 absorbing the blow.
He knows what he's doing, right? He's understanding, you know, when his name is called, his number is called, right? How are you going to stay on the floor? How are you going to gain minutes? Not by the offense, but it's plays like this right here. Again, moving the puppies, taking it on the chest, right in the numbers there and picking up another charge.
It's been his calling card this season. Hildebrandt, the 23-year-old from Winnipeg, playing at home in his 3rd season in the CEBL. And there's the dunk and the foul and the stare down from Jeremiah Tillman.
Well, I've been saying all game, right, that Tillman has to get touches in the post, right? You get him this basketball right now, and he squares up, spins off of the defense, and gets himself an easy dunk. That was probably the easiest and best executed play that I've seen all day between both teams. Simple basketball. There you get it. Good job sealing, right? Get the defense weight going one way, and now you spin, right? There's an easy 2 right there. You know what's going to happen the next time down the floor? You get that basketball in the post, and that weak side defense is coming on that bottom side. Now you have a read to make. Now you have a play to make.
That was Jeremiah Tillman saying, okay, Rook. Canada's Pro Basketball League returns next Sunday. The finale of this CEBL regular season, a potential Cal Tire Western Conference Finals preview. The SeaBears travel to Vancouver to take on the Bandits. 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. Could very well be for home court through the CEBL playoffs. Western Conference playoffs. Seven-point Winnipeg advantage. Jeremiah Tillman to the line. Tillman out of East St. Louis, played all 4 seasons in college at Mizzou. Coming off a 16-point performance on Sunday against Montreal. Rebound brought in by Izze. The lead remains 7. 4 and change minutes to go until target score time. Here's Osborne. The interception and the finish, and how badly does Isaiah Osborne need that?
That's something I also mentioned earlier as well, right? You got to be prepared for Winnipeg switches, right? And Brampton there just got caught sleeping. Isaiah Osborne there just jumping that lane, tipping the basketball.
That time redirected by McGowan's. 5 on the shot clock. East pulls up, triple! Needed 3 by Sean East II. And just as it appeared it might slip away for Brampton, here come the Honey Badgers. And Sean East has 21 as Teddy Buckets, at long last with his 4 personals, will check back into the game.
And that's all right, but if you're Brampton right now, you see Teddy Allen checking back in with 4 fouls. Every play down the floor, you've got to be picking him out and attacking him. Right now, he can't be aggressive defensively, right? He's never been the best defensive player, but he's committed a bit more on that end now, right? Use that aggression against him and those 4 fouls against him.
6-point game. It's Muntu losing the handle. Moon now at the controls. Osborne back to Allen for 3. And it's Osborne. The tip-in won't go. And Brampton ball. And Isaiah Osborne takes a long look at that iron, and he must be wondering, what is it? Has now missed 13 straight 3-point buckets, and even the tip-ins aren't dropping for the veteran from Windsor, Ontario. Here's East going to work on Allen. And he can't do much with the 4 fouls.
That was it. That was exactly it, right? You come down, right? You get this switch that you want against Allen, and he's attacking. He's attacking, right? And right back, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
26 for East. Tillman into a double team. Now Hildebrand going to work on Moncrief. Hildebrand short. And Moon gets bumped by Cameron Tyson. So a couple of offensive rebounds on that sequence for the SeaBears.
Hustle plays, and that becomes so important down the stretch here, right? You got 2 minutes left, and you're getting into target time, right? Can you win more possessions?
Jordan Minor back into the game for Brampton. Teddy Allen with 29, sat most of the 3rd quarter. Osborne no good. And Brampton can make this a 1-possession game. On this possession, here's East, the pull-up.
That's it. You come right back down, you're attacking Allen right away. Right, Xavier Moon and Allen in the action. You know, East coming off that screen. Allen dropping low because he doesn't want to get caught high to foul.
28 for Sean East. 2 minutes from target score time. Hildebrand from the corner. Won't go. Tillman the offensive rebound. And he's fouled. An effort play from Jeremiah Tillman Jr.
Energy, effort, and energy. That's all that is, right? And you know, the second chance opportunity, the second effort, shot goes up. Tillman down there amongst the trees, amongst all the yellow shirts, it's still coming up with the basketball.
14 offensive rebounds for the SeaBears so far tonight. Tillman to the line, a 59% free throw shooter. Our first look at Emmanuel Acod in quite some time. So Winnipeg with its starting 5. Tillman can't convert either. He's stuck on 4 points. And the Honey Badgers on a little run of their own. 90 seconds till target score time.
You got to clear out now. This is exactly what you want.
East again. 30 points for Sean East II. And Teddy Allen can't do much with the fouls, and East is going to work on him.
If you're at Brampton right now, you are exactly where you want to be, right? All you need is stops right now because you have something going on the offensive end with East and just, again, attacking Teddy Allen.
Acott, no. Rebound brought in by Minor.
I thought that last play, you know, when they came down, Teddy Allen was on the perimeter. He was a little bit aggressive, you know, in his initial setup defensively.
9-0 run for Brampton. This time it's Osborne guarding East. The three is good for Peters Jr. From how deep? 22 on the night. Allen splits the D, finds Moon. No. Target score time just seconds away. Winnipeg led this thing 76-67. East is short, tried to draw the foul. Did he?
He's gonna get called for a flopping here.
And they're calling a flop. There will be no yellow card, there will be no direct red, and Sean East can't believe the whistle.
Well, I also thought before you even got the flop, I thought Sean East let Teddy Allen off the hook, right? You look at the last couple baskets that Brampton has had. They've come down and it's been attack. It's been attack. It's been attack. Teddy can't, with his 4 fouls right now, he can't stay in front of anybody or even make that effort. So, you know, before you even get this call, right, East, you just got to be a bit more aware, right? Again, I said it before, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Meanwhile, Moon with the free throw. Let's take another look.
You see, he creates a space here. As quick as he is, I thought he should have just shifted into it. Got to the basket, comes down, and whether Teddy was around him or not, we can't really tell from this angle.
Somewhere Briel Mbolo says, I feel for you, Sean. It is time for target score time in Winnipeg.
A difference.
Best time of the CEBL starts now. It is target score time in Winnipeg. Brampton with the advantage. Only 2 players for the Honey Badgers have hit double figures, but it's Sean East with 30 and Roddy Peters with 22.
Yeah, you know, both these players have done it different ways, right? Roddy Peters in transition, doing a lot of his action, and then, you know, Sean East has come on in this 4th quarter here where he's recognized, okay, there's some foul trouble on the other side of the floor. I'm going to get into attack mode and find a matchup that I want and get to his spot, right? And that's one of the things with him. With his speed, right, he can get to his points on the floor. It's really hard to deter him. But great awareness by him, just waking up, right? I've been asking for that for the first, you know, since the first half, for him to wake up and play a big game, play a loud game, have an impact, have a presence.
First to 88 will win it. Xavier Moon opens target score time with the jumper. Moon has 21. It is a 12-3 Brampton run. And that's...
There it is. There you go.
And East can't believe it. He thought he drew the foul on Teddy Allen.
So did I. So did I. There you got the switch, and
They call the moving screen. Must be.
yeah, Teddy knew it right away, right? Pointed on the other end of the floor.
Here's Moon. Won't go. Tillman trying to rip it down, but it's Peters who comes down with it. Back to East, being guarded by Osborne. 12 to shoot, top of the key. Now Jordan Minor. And Hildebrandt with the rebound. Allen hasn't been able to do much with the 4 fouls here in this second half. Goes left, short. Tillman, no, remains SeaBears ball.
See, this is the what I mentioned earlier, just defining what your target time identity is, right? You don't want to get into too much isolation. Teddy ball, Xavier ball, Teddy ball, Xavier. Get the basketball in Xavier Moon's hands for him to make plays for this team.
And now it's going to be a foul on Hildebrandt the other way. Mike Rainbow echoing what we're thinking. And that's the 3rd personal on Hildebrandt. So, tied at 79, the target is 88. The first to get there will win this thing. Brampton on a 3-game losing streak. Needs a win badly. And it's Ambrose Hilton headed to the line.
That's some big-time passing in tight quarters. Here you see the attack, and Tillman just rolling back late into play, and Ambrose Hilton picking up the foul.
What a find by Roddy Peters. Ambrose Hilton, a 56.7% free throw shooter. Eight to go for Brampton, 9 for Winnipeg. Moon backs off with 10 on the shot clock. Tillman now to Osborne. Another miss.
Got to keep taking them. These are good shots. These are really good shots. At some point, that first one is going to go down, and then that basket's going to start opening up.
East was looking for Ambrose Hilton. Now he pulls the trigger. Sean East, the second, has 33. And the Honey Badgers are 5 points away. Hildebrandt, too strong. East the rebound. Thought about the pass, gets into the paint. And now a couple more free throws for Sean East the second. And Osborne doesn't have much of an argument there.
Yeah, you know, Sean East the second, he's playing this game like a violin, right? It's just so poetic right now. Here you see ball screen, just stops on a dime, a little dance, a little, shows you his little handle, his package, got into his bag a bit there. And now second play back down, hit the rock, right? You get the basketball in his hands. You know, 30 points on the night, 6 rebounds, gets into the paint, and gets himself to the free throw line for his 31st point and a chance at one more.
East knocks down both. Brampton 3 points away. Timeout, Mike Rainbow. The road trip began on Thursday for Brampton. 3 new players just signed by the Honey Badgers. It had to come together against the Mamba. Peters, Minor, Jones all getting their feet wet there. They kind of said to themselves, if we get a split on this trip, it gives us a pretty good road on the way back going into the playoff home stretch when they return home to Brampton.
Mr. Do It All. Look at this, right? He's just in a groove. Getting to the free throw line, boom, knocking it down. And you can just see as this fourth quarter has gone on, as you've got into target time, right, his play and his shoulders have gotten broader and broader and broader. It's like, get me the rock, give me all the responsibility. He's fresh off a summer league where he didn't play many minutes, but just that experience, you come back with a chip on your shoulder and you want to show and prove. You want to get right back to it. And you're seeing it in a big game right here against Winnipeg.
35 for East tonight. He is 2 points shy of a franchise record for most points in a game. What do the SeaBears have? They need to go on a run. Teddy Allen been held in check. Can Teddy get something going here? He can't. The Honey Badgers can win it with a 3 here. Sean East has done it all tonight for Brampton. Faces Allen for the win. And Hildebrandt brings in the rebound. Back to Teddy in the corner, and he wasn't able to bring it in. Ball hit the sideline.
Yeah, if you're Brampton right now, you come back down, you don't need the kill shot. What you need is the best shot.
Roddy Peters Jr. has 22. And Winnipeg will get another chance. They've come up empty on their last couple of possessions.
It's almost like holding water, right? You want it so bad right now. You know the impact of this game, especially in the Eastern standings, right? You just want some good quality looks to just drop.
Moon with the pull-up.
Without that man having something to say about it.
First 88 wins. Xavier Moon has 23 points today. Teddy all over East. For the win! Controlled by East and Brampton. Now Peters, no! Hildebrandt the rebound, 9th today. Lid on the bucket of late for Brampton. Here's Mood. Has Jordan Minor on skates. And what a move by Xavier Mood. Timeout Alex Serta. Well, here come the SeaBears.
This is why I said to you, right, if you're Brampton, you don't need the kill shots, right? You needed high quality shots. You needed high efficiency shots, right? Because then you miss those and you put the basketball in a guy like Moon's hands who's, you know, a proven closer, you know, in this league. And he understands, you know, target time. He understands, okay, shots on basket are more important than just volume threes, right? And here he's chipping away at it possession by possession by possession. Right now, I feel like Brampton seems to be sped up and they're more concerned with, you know, 88 than the quality of each shot that they're getting.
Last 7 points for Winnipeg have been scored by Xavier Moon. Teddy Allen held in check in the second half. He had 24 at the break, only 5 points since. Meanwhile, Xavier Moon has ignited for 17 points in this second half.
And that's the danger of Xavier Moon, right? He comes alive in these moments, right? And, you know, we've seen it in this league before where he's completely changed the trajectory of a game and completely taken over games that had no business winning, right? And for Brampton, right, this has kind of been a microcosm of their last, you know, the latter part of the meat and potatoes of their season where, you know, just unable to close games out. Right, but you know, fortunately for them, they created enough gap where you're still 3 points away. So, you know, this possession right here is extremely important because if you don't get this, you also give Winnipeg momentum at home.
The Honey Badgers have missed their last 4 shots. Moon nearly caused the turnover. East has it, was looking for Minor, and Hildebrandt comes down with it. Moon for 3. And all of a sudden, the SeaBears are 2 points away.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
A 3 can win it here for Brampton. Allen all over. East. Now, was that a 3-point shot or was he inside the arc? That's the question.
That is a 3. It looks like the officials, it looks like they signaled for 3.
Teddy Allen is fouled out. That we know.
Yep, it's free. He's behind the line when that shot goes up and that foul is called. You know, I think what happened, Teddy tried to get that foul prior to him going up.
On the floor.
On the floor. And that's what makes, you know, target time so interesting, right? The gamesmanship there. Because if he had gotten that foul on the floor, now you're, you know, East is going to the line as bonus. And Winnipeg still has the opportunity to close out the game.
Winnipeg had gone on a 7-0 run to lead 86-85, but Sean East II can win it here for the Honey Badgers. A 90.6% free throw shooter on the season. Brampton came into this thing on a 3-game losing skid. The Honey Badgers sit second in the Eastern Conference. Sean East II can win it here for Brampton. And does. What a win, what a road win, and what a performance by Sean East II. Welcome back to the CEBL 55.
That was gutsy. That was a gutsy win, and Brampton wanted to make that one a little bit more difficult than they needed to, but you know what? They came out with that win, and you know, we spoke about it in the open as well, right? With all the stars that are on the floor, Teddy Allen, Xavier Moon, you know, I said that Sean East could still, on any given night, doesn't matter who's on that floor, he could be the biggest star. And today in this game, that was the biggest star.
Game high 38 points for Sean East II. Huge win for the Honey Badgers. Coming out of the break, Donovan Bennett, Joe Razzo, Javon Shepard. Brampton wins it in Winnipeg.
Well, he told you that game was going to be about stars, but guys, that was a game about one star fouling another star late.
Yeah, the beauty of target time. You know, when you're time of possession is huge. In this case, you know, you don't want to give up a three and you don't want to foul somebody who's shooting a three. So I thought the situation here should have been, Winnipeg should have been fouling ahead of time, not putting themselves in that situation.
Yeah, I think, you know, and I also want to credit Brampton for how they attacked, you know, in the fourth quarter and in target time, knowing that, you know, Teddy Allen had those 4 fouls, right? And they just continued to attack him. That allowed them to get back in this game, but also take the lead. And I think to your point, Joe, right, that foul was the right idea. That was the right play in theory, but it has to happen earlier.
Well, in reality, Winnipeg needs Saskatoon to help them secure home field advantage in the first round. And Brampton now alone in second place in the Eastern Conference with this big win with just a week left in the regular season. We've got more great sports coverage coming up for you right here on CBC. Our wall-to-wall coverage of the 2026 Commonwealth Games continues. You can continue to stream action early tomorrow on GEM. Bowl starts. Andy Petrillo will be with you beginning at 1 p.m. Eastern for our network coverage. When the East is in the house, danger. The Brampton Honey Badgers with an outstanding come-from-behind win. It had everything you want, including great target time.